Hello, my name is Diane, and I have read 100 books this year. And I'm still reading books. That's so many. So even though it's not quite the end of the month, I thought I would do my November wrap up here, ending with the 100th book I've read so far. What a crazy week. It was Thanksgiving, so I made Thanksgiving dinner and ate way too much food, but it was delicious. And then we watched Indiana Jones after, which I've somehow never seen until now. And it was also my high school reunion. Which was fun to see some of my old high school friends, some of my oldest friends, and all the weird new things that are in my hometown that I never knew were there because I don't live in my hometown anymore. So far in November, I have read The Little Prince, about a pilot who meets a prince from another planet. A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers, the sequel to A Psalm for the Wild-Built. Holic, volumes 1 and 2, about a boy who can see spirits and meets a woman who claims she can help him with that because he doesn't like seeing spirits, but in exchange he has to work for her to pay for that service. The Alchemist, about a man who has a dream of finding treasure in Egypt and follows his dream to find whatever that treasure may be. Fry Bread, a children's story about the history and significance of fry bread. With the Fire on High, a story about a young mother in high school trying to balance being a mother and a granddaughter and a friend with her dream of becoming a chef. Brownies and Broomsticks, a cozy mystery about a girl who moves to help her aunt and uncle open a bakery, and when there is a murder outside of their bakery, her uncle is the main suspect and they have to prove that it wasn't him. Manhunt, part of a pretty long series, and there's an attack on Thanksgiving at the Thanksgiving Day parade, and the main character is trying to find who's responsible for that attack and catch them. Gingerbread, a very surreal story that takes little bits and pieces inspiration from fairy tale stories that feature gingerbread and does something I think pretty creative and unique with them. A very bizarre story of a woman telling her daughter about the possibly imaginary place that she grew up and the things that happened there and how she came to be in England now. And then all of the other books I've read so far this month are Christmas books because over on my blog I'm planning on reviewing one Christmas book every day in December leading up to Christmas, and I'll talk about those a little more in December because even though I'm reading Christmas books now, it feels too soon to be talking about Christmas books. For me, I like to wait a little bit after Thanksgiving to do anything Christmassy, but 24 books is not something I want to try and cram into December. Do one and review one in the same day. So I'm getting a head start, but But so far for Christmas stories, I've read A Christmas Legacy, which I think so far is my favorite one that I've read. It's about a woman who was a maid and briefly goes back to being a maid to fill in for someone else she knows who's worried about getting blamed for things that have been going missing in her employer's home. And our main character is trying to figure out what's actually going on in this home, why things are going missing, and who's responsible. Skipping Christmas, which was a pretty funny and cynical read about Christmas. I read the children's books Christmas for a Kitten and also The Fox and the Star. The Christmas Box, another children's book, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. The Mystery Highland Christmas. Then I read the book The Christmas Shoes, which is based on the song about the Christmas shoes, which is probably the saddest Christmas song ever. And then, if you count the book that I reread earlier this year, The Christmas Shoes would be my 100th book. But for some reason, Storygraph doesn't think rereads count as reads. So, based on that, my 100th book this year was actually A Christmas Story, which is the book the movie A Christmas Story was based on, which I'm pretty sure I've seen the whole movie in full, piece by piece, but I don't think I've ever seen it from start to finish. So it was fun to read the book that is the same story as the movie and actually get the whole story in the order that it's told. And maybe this year I'll finally watch the movie from start to finish and not just here and there on Christmas Day, because it's always on all day long on Christmas Day. But I'm also currently reading Jurassic Park, which is my favorite movie, and I've been procrastinating reading this book because I kind of built it up because I love the movie so much, and I'm afraid I'm not gonna like the book as much for some reason, or it's just gonna be okay, or even worse, that it's gonna be bad and then I'm gonna hate the book that my favorite movie is based on, and that just feels awful. But I am reading it and I'm loving it, and now I'm just annoyed that I got worried about it and put it off for this long, because I could have already been reading it or have already read the second book, The Lost World, because I've been planning on reading that, but after reading even just the prologue of Jurassic Park, I'm like, I had nothing to be worried about. That was ridiculous. So, very much enjoying that. Got a bunch of other Christmas books to get through. And then I'll just have plenty of whatever else to get through. Got a lot of books I've been looking forward to that I'm planning to read soon. I'm trying to get through all the Christmas books I wanted to read and review as early as I can, so that if anything comes up in December, as things tend to do in December, I won't have to pile them all in and feel rushed reading them, because a lot of them are a lot better than I would have expected. I'm not a huge holiday person. I never really have been, but this year I'm trying to feel a little more festive in the easiest and best way for me to try and do that and get in holiday spirit and feel like I'm really celebrating is reading books that feel relevant to those holidays, if not just heavily featuring those holidays, which there's a ton of Christmas books. I've never read any of them. And some of them have been really good so far. So I'm excited that they're not just kind of sappy, cheesy holiday stories, which is sort of what I expected. But there's been a lot of fun ones so far. And I haven't even read most of the mysteries I'm planning on reading. So I think those will be a lot of fun too. We got some snow recently, which it just feels too early for, but I guess it's not because it's almost December. And it just definitely just went from feeling like it was a little unseasonably warm to all of a sudden being a little too cold, too fast. But that is everything I've read so far in November. And my most recent reads of the year leading up to my 100th book of the year, which I still can't believe I've read that many books this year. It really doesn't feel like it. I feel like I've had a lot of lulls in my reading, but I guess it hasn't been as bad as I feel like it has been, which tends to be the way. I hope you've been having some good reading, whatever you've been reading, however many books you've been reading. It doesn't have to be 100 to be worth celebrating and enjoying. And I hope you had a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.